Hello my hungry friends! Today we're making fried beets, buraczki zasmażane. Welcome back friends, this is Polish Kitchen, my name is Anna and today we're preparing a delicious Polish dish. We call it buraczki zasmażane, so translation for that would be fried beets. It's not really fried beets, it's more like braised beets or maybe like a hot beet salad. I'm here to provide you with some variety for your everyday cooking with some delicious Polish beet salad. So to make this dish, we're gonna cook 3 beets. Mine were kind of medium sized and I've done that ahead of time, and I actually boiled mine this time. You can either boil them or roast them.
For how long do you boil them?
So you just scrub them really well with a brush to get the dirt off, and you keep them unpeeled. I covered them with water and salted my water a little bit, and they boiled for about 45 minutes. And if you're gonna boil them, you do it like that, and then if you can also roast them. So you'll put them in a baking dish, also wash them. I'm gonna put them in a baking dish covered, and they have to bake for a little bit longer. Medium-sized beets like this will probably take about an hour 15. And after you've boiled them or you've cooked them, they have to cool, and then we're gonna shred them on this. My gloves are catching. We're gonna shred them on this smallest, you can't tell, can you? On the smallest shredder that kind of pulverizes them and makes them into kind of a mush. And really to cut down on the cooking process, in my home, my grandma would always, once the summer was done and they had all the veggies from that season, she would make a bunch of this pulverized kind of...
a pulp?
A pulp, there you go. And then she would add a little bit of salt and a little bit of vinegar, and she would can it. So just follow normal canning procedure. And then when you need to cook this dish, it's really quick then, because you just pull a jar out of your pantry and then you proceed with the recipe. So it cuts down on your cooking time tremendously. And I have several jars in my pantry. But to show you the process, I went from the beginning. So
that didn't work.
my gloves didn't work. Make sure to wear protective gear for this. Gloves if you want to. Mine didn't really work. I'm just gonna wash my hands real quick. All right, so to make this dish, once we have our beets done, the process is really quick. And if you're making dinner and you have your main dish on the stove already, it'll take you no time to make this. I love it, it's real quick and it's super delicious. So then you're gonna heat your pan, and I have couple of tablespoons of butter in here, and what we're going to do is we're going to make a roux. And a roux is a mixture of butter and flour, and creates this kind of base for the creamy base for our beets. And it's kind of a little bit of this juice that's in here is going to kind of mix with the roux and kind of create this nice warm creamy texture to our beets. I need a whisk. So our butter is heating, and this dish is normally served as a side veg. So you can have just chabowy, typical Polish dinner, so your fried cutlet, or you can have like a stew, and then so this will be your veg side. And I feel in Polish cooking, there's a little bit more variety as far as vegetables go, don't you think?
Absolutely.
We do.
Well, variety compared to...
Variety as far as like eating vegetables as a side dish.
There's lots of vegetables for side dishes, yes. But a lot of it's cabbage, to be fair.
So I had about a couple tablespoons of butter here, and I added a couple tablespoons of flour, and this is going to create a roux. And I'm going to stop and just give this a stir. I don't want it darkening and burning my flour, so that's good enough. And we're going to add our beets to this. And if you've boiled your beets and you salted the water a little bit, we kind of have to think about our salt intake here. So I'm just gonna mix this around to get the roux into our beets. And we don't want the heat high. Mix this around, get that roux in there, thickening our liquid that was in here. I didn't add any more liquid than just what was in the beets after shredding. And then to preserve our beautiful color, we're gonna add a little bit of regular just white vinegar. And if you go to polskakitchen.com, you can find this recipe. I'm also posting a link right below this video for it, so it's easy for you to find and follow. So the vinegar gives us the color. Once beets start cooking, they may lose some of that beautiful dark red color. So that will help with that. We have a little bit of acid. And then we want to do a little bit of sugar just to kind of balance things out. I got one, maybe 3/4 of a teaspoon. A little bit of sugar will kind of balance the acidity. And then I'm not sure if it needs salt yet, but I'll taste it here in a minute. I don't think so. So just kind of gauge. If you're roasting them, probably need a little bit of salt, but if you're boiling them in salted water, it won't need as much. So as you can see, my mixture is kind of getting a little bit more thick. It's thickening up from the roux, and that's why it's called, we call it zasmażane, because it's kind of fried in that roux. And then, so I'm not adding any salt. And then last but not least, I want to add about 1/4 cup of heavy cream. If you don't have heavy cream, half and half will also work, but not sour cream. It has to be sweet cream. And this is what will help more with kind of the creaminess. And I like how it changes the color a little bit to this kind of hot pink. And it'll make our beets gorgeously creamy. And we are ready. So we have a little salt, a little vinegar. So salt, sour, sweet, and now creamy from, and beets are, cooked beets like that are already, they have a little bit of sweetness to them as well, so. And our dish is done. What was it, 5 minutes?
Total of 10 minutes of filming, but there's some fluff in between.
There's fluff in between, so once you have the beets cooked, and if you're not a big fan of beets, please try this. You will be surprised how delicious this is. I've made this for one of my friends. Greetings to Angie, once born and raised in Kansas, America. And she was really surprised how good this was, and I believe she makes it at home now. Tip from Angie, wear an apron. She told me at some point. All right, and our dish is done. And all you gotta do to serve this is get yourself a nice bowl and serve it with a nice, either a roast, or you can even serve it next to your turkey at Thanksgiving if you're trying to polish your Thanksgiving or Christmas. Don't give me any lip.
I'm not. You can add it.
And you have a nice bowl of creamed beets. Should we taste? Do you like this?
I like the flavor. The consistency's a little off for me, but that's just a personal thing.
I think this thing is perfect. Beets are super sweet from just being beets. Beets are sweet. Just tiny bit of sugar kind of helps with the sweetness and the creaminess and the sourness from vinegar. Perfect dish. I hope you try this at home. And get yourself an apron because you're gonna need it for this recipe. Recipe at polskakitchen.com and also in the description of this video. I hope you come and see us again and cook with us. I hope you come on Friday and see our adventures of culinary Poland outside our kitchen. And we'll see you next time. Smacznego!